Hello, wealthy family, and thank you for coming in and sharing some time with me today. So, today, on this beautiful, soulful, spiritual Sunday, I wanted to talk about something that has been on my heart heavy to talk about. And it's because I understand that we do not live in we the way how we're taught time is not what it is. So we're taught that time is linear, right? That just is always one thing happening at a time, and we are just one-dimensional beings, and that is not the case. We are multi-dimensional spiritual beings first. And I know it may sound a little esoteric, it may sound a little occult, it may sound kind of out there, but there's numerous scientists, there's numerous studies, there's so many things out there that prove that we are more than just this vessel, more than just this body. We have five physical senses, but we also have spiritual senses as well. We have six additional senses. So we have to think, what is it that we can do to help develop that? How do we develop our spirit or our soul or those other senses? When I say we have spiritual senses, some people may be like, what are you talking about? But just to give you an example, it's your intuition is one of those senses. Your gut feeling is one of those senses. Have you ever just had a feeling about someone, or you walked into something and you could feel it and you're like, man, that doesn't seem right? Or if you have your eyes closed or you have a blindfold and you're walking ahead and you can feel an object is in front of you and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. You can feel that. That's one of your spiritual senses, right? So we can develop that and we can train that. But how do we do that? Because we're told that the only way to connect to spirit, right? The only way to connect to God or to the divine or whatever you want to call it is through a different medium, that you don't have direct connection, that we are sinful people who need a connection or like a tap to connect to higher sources, and that is not the case. And when I realized that, it was so freeing and it was so beautiful. And I went through a deep dive to figure out, how can I learn more, right? How can I get tapped in, tuned in, turned on all the time? And it's not a hard process at all, but it does take discipline and it does take consistency. Please understand that nothing happens overnight. Understand that the systematic oppression of your spirituality, of your confusion and your unknowing is something that's been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years. It's not something that just happened now. And if you carry the same DNA and genetics of your parents who made you, right? If you have physical traits, who's to say that you don't also have mental traits? But a lot of people don't think that way. So if you also have mental traits, you also have the good and the bad of both, okay? You don't get to pick and choose because the universe doesn't deal in good and bad. We have positive, we have negative, but everything is balanced, right? And we're responsible for both those things. So if you say, you have your mother's brown eyes, but you have your father's temper, right? Those are traits that you can use, that you can mold to make fit you in whatever which way. So understand that in order to develop your spiritual senses and therefore turn up your spirituality is like, there's a couple different steps you can do, but the first thing that you want to do is focus within. Focus on yourself, right? Go into meditation. Meditation is not something that's hard to do. It is not convenient for a lot of people, and especially in the society that we're in right now, where we have like a microwave mentality where we have to have everything right now. A lot of people do not take the time to say, okay, well, I can wait for this. I can be patient for this, right? I can sit with myself for a couple of minutes. And I can quiet my mind. I can still my mind. I don't need to have the phone going, the TV going, have 5 different social media platforms open. We don't need that, right? You can take your time, go within and quiet your mind. When your mind is quiet and your mind is still, it allows you to open up and be a receptor. You can now pour in. You can now allow your vessel to be programmed with other things, right? That's beneficial to you. But you have to still that. You have to quiet that, right? Have you ever, well, I'm sure you have, but you're pouring something into a cup, right? If it's full to the brim, what's going to happen? Things are going to start overflowing with that liquid, whatever you're pouring. It's not going to be able to hold it all. You have to release some of it, drink some of it down, and make more room for other things to come in. So quieting your mind is just that. Quieting your mind is emptying some of those vessels, some of those things that is in your vessel, so that you can allow new things to come in. So start off slow, 5-minute meditation, whatever your thoughts are, whatever comes in, allow it to come in without any judgment. It's your thoughts. No one can hear it. So who cares what they are? Who cares if you think about Bozo the Clown, or who cares if you think about, the animals being herded, or who cares if you think about, the dark Sith Lord from Star Wars. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's your thoughts. It's you. You are allowed to think whatever it is that you want to think. It's not illegal yet, right? So use your mind, but allow those thoughts to come in without judgment and let it just pass. That's how you train and build your spiritual senses. Another great way is tuning into natural elements, right? Be in tune and understand and appreciate the oneness, right? The trees, appreciate the oneness in that. Appreciate the beautiful crystals and gems that this earth provides. My ring has diamonds in it, right? A natural stone from the earth. And, it's been dubbed as a girl's best friend and something that's beautiful. My necklace is gold, my earrings are silver. Those are all beautiful elements that come from the earth. But if you go to pick up a clear quartz or an Apache tears or a lapis lazuli stone, and you now want to hold it and feel those energies, now you're being looked at, society has dubbed it as something that's evil and wicked and horrible. But how so? Why can we appreciate certain other elements of the earth and not appreciate them all? They all have benefits to us. They all can be beneficial. It's just a matter of how you use it and how you apply it to your life. See, the silvers turn into beautiful earrings, right? But if you have a beautiful silver medallion and you use that to act as a talisman or act as a symbol of something that holds importance to you, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because the earth gives us so many different gifts. So many different gifts. So don't place value on something because you're told that it's valuable and then shun the next because society doesn't quite understand it, or they do understand it and they want to hold the power all for themselves. Because if you think that doesn't happen, I have a bridge to sell you, right? A lot of things are coming to the light. A lot of things are changing. And with that, the old way of doing things will no longer suffice. It will no longer work. You can no longer look for refuge in the sky. You can no longer look to man-made religions to save you. We're now responsible for our own salvation, right? So start learning to, I don't want to say perfect, but start learning to practice, right? Because practice makes improvement. Start learning to practice and do things to build your spirituality. And I'm not saying that you have to go into bruja and you have to, do hoodoo, and that's not what I'm saying. But just practicing your spirituality, understanding that just like how you have physical DNA traits, you have spiritual DNA traits, and you can do things to help make those spiritual traits a little more better for you, right? If you're a spiritual being, why not develop that spiritual being inside of you first? You have nothing to lose, right? You have everything to gain. Give it a try. Give it 30 days, right? for 30 days straight. Say, you know what, I'm going to meditate for 30 days for 5 minutes every day, preferably in the morning, but whatever time you can get it in, right? And see what type of difference it makes in your life. I promise you, it'll be life changing. And if not, then you just had 5 minutes of silence, right? Well, 5 times 30, 150 minutes of silence, I should say. So I hope that those little tidbits helped you. I didn't want to stay too long, but I did want to definitely just pop in and share that with you, because things are changing and you have to be adaptable. Anything, the only thing that is constant in this universe is change. And if you don't adapt and learn to connect and be tapped in, turned on, tuned in, then you'll be disconnected. And that won't be a very good feeling at all. Okay? So until next time, wealthy family, I hope you all enjoy your day. Go out and love and be aware and be alert and be vigilant and stay safe.